Sanibonani guys, ngiyathemba ukuthi niphila kahle lapho nikhona. I welcome you all on today's podcast, and I hope you're gonna sit with me and perhaps have a proper conversation about this sensitive topic of rape that is currently a pandemic in our country, Tanzania/South Africa. So let's have some chats on this topic because it's affecting our communities at large, guys. So stay with me. Let's engage in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and you must always share your comments, obviously, with me so that you can engage further on the comment section. Let us just start, guys. As you know, guys, rape that are related to men or male as victims are taken so lightly, especially here in our country, Tanzania. Hence, most of cases, when you check them on the internet, they only prioritize women. So as a man, when you report a case of rape at our SAPS, they regard you as someone who's stupid, as someone who's weak, not realizing that even men are experiencing rape, guys. Hence, in 2012, 19.2% of male who are victims have experienced rape, guys. 19.4% of all sexual abuse victims were male in 2012, guys. And from all those years, there haven't been more reports of male who are raped here in our country, Tanzania. And I hope that as citizens, we will try to resolve those issues. We must also have some sort of gender balance in our country. We must not only prioritize one gender, we must balance, guys. Balance equals to life. Balance equals to progress on everyday life. So now, 35% of women worldwide in the past decade have experienced rape. So you can imagine that 35% of women out of 100% all worldwide. Then for the year 2010, South Africa had the highest rate of rape in the world. Meaning South Africa in 2010 was the highest country with rape cases, reported rape cases. Then now we have Botswana. Then we have two provinces that are leading in Tanzania in terms of high rate of rape cases, which is Northwest and Northern Cape. Northern Cape is the one that is leading, is the one province that is leading in terms of rape cases in Tanzania. So now KZN it has increased in terms of those rates. Eastern Cape also in that regard, Gauteng, Limpopo and others, guys. So rape is a pandemic in our country and we need to resolve such issues, guys. So now let us come to the part wherein let's talk about the causes of rape in South Africa or in Tanzania, the causes of rape in our country. Yes, guys. So now let us go back to colonization and apartheid, respectively. So remember that our grandparents, our grandparents were taken to other countries for slavery. Were taken to Portugal, Europe in particular, for slavery, so they can be used for their gains. So the colonizers, they took our parents to their countries to work for them in terms of slavery and stuff. And in that regard, they were raping them, guys. They were experiencing rape, they were experiencing hatred, they were experiencing bad treatment in those world. Hence it was called slavery, guys. So that kind of trauma has caused our families to be destabilized, has caused our family to be not stable. Guys. You must remember that our parents were in peace before colonization. There were no traumatic event that took place besides the tribal war, obviously, that obviously are casualties. So now such traumas that our grandparents have experienced became generational, guys, because if you cannot address issues, remember that my belief is that colonization came with change of our belief system. Remember, as Africans, we were spiritual beings. Then they came with the Bible and Christianity and other religions here in Africa. That's when they changed our belief system, guys. And we know that as more Africa, as an individual who live in Africa, if you experience rape, you must get cleansed spiritually, so that thing cannot happen regularly, guys. So I believe that rape started in those years of colonization up until today, guys. And besides not cleansing spiritually, our parents, meaning life went on. The system of apartheid came in. Also during apartheid, even when our parents went to exile, they were raped, obviously, in those camps of MKVA, in those camps of Abu Apla in the Cuba, and others of MKVA were here in Africa, Botswana, Ghana, and all those countries, and all those neighboring countries around Tanzania, guys. So they were raped, our parents. If you experience rape, you must get cleansed spiritually, so that thing cannot happen regularly, guys. So I believe that rape started in those years of colonization up until today, guys. And besides not cleansing spiritually, our parents, meaning life went on. The system of apartheid came in. Also during apartheid, even when our parents went to exile, they were raped, obviously, in those camps of MKVA, in those camps of Abu Apla in the Cuba, and others of MKVA were here in Africa, Botswana, Ghana, and all those countries, and all those neighboring countries around Tanzania, guys. So they were raped, our parents. So such cases were not reported in those exile times wherein our parents were raped, up until today. And our parents carried on with that kind of trauma they experienced in exile. Our parents carried on with that trauma they experienced during colonization. Our parents carried on with that experience with that trauma of being raped throughout apartheid and now. Yeah, boy. And guys, and in the African context, we understand that, or we know that as an unborn baby, you already experience, it can be good or bad habits or experience by your mother during that 9-month duration of her pregnancy. So whatever that your mother is experiencing outside, you're also experiencing it spiritually on the inside. Hence, at some point, you inhabit some of the characteristics that your mother was experiencing. Not what your mother is, but what your mother is experiencing. Not the real characteristics of your mother, but what your mother experienced can also affect you positively or negatively when you start to come out of the womb and live your life. So such a traumatic experiences of rape, they are spiritual, guys. So they can be transferred to our kids. So our kids will be born with that kind of emotions that are hurt as they grow up. They will show up as they grow up, guys. Hence, it's so important for our mothers to be careful on what they eat, what they do, what they experience during pregnancy, because those things that they do or they experience, they could affect their kids when they grow up positively and negatively, guys. So during colonization, our mothers were raped. So that kind of traumatic emotional experience surely it affected our grandmothers who were born after 9 months or during colonization, during apartheid and stuff. Even during apartheid, our mothers were still raped. Guys. So that trauma. It's generational. It's a curse. It's a generational curse. Even now, such issues are not addressed accordingly. We hope that our government will address them. How? We need us as the citizens of Africa and Azania in particular to resolve those issues with our kids and our families, so we can rebuild our families, guys. So that's my belief. Rape is spiritual. If you're a child who's born out of rape, that experience that was experienced by your mother, it can affect you as a child. It's either a man or a woman. It can be experienced by a man or a woman when you grow up as a kid, guys. Yeah, so I believe what is happening today, it is caused by what happened or what our parents experienced in the olden days, both our fathers and mothers, obviously, what they experienced in the olden days of colonization and apartheid. Yes. So guys, I will come up with a solution that I think it will work as the podcast or as the episode proceeds. Then the next cause of rape, I believe it is liquor. The people who are under influence of liquor can literally do anything bad or good when they are under influence. So liquor, like here in Tanzania currently, liquor is one of the leading causes of rape in our communities here in Tanzania. And again, this alcohol thing, it comes back to the time wherein our parents were working in their mines. They were getting paid with liquor or alcohol. Our parents in the mines during the time of apartheid or first industrial revolution, they were paid with alcohol by the Boer or the Caucasians, the Europeans in the mines. So again, guys, I'm not blaming Caucasians or white people on what is happening in our country currently, but I'm just saying alcohol is one of the leading causes of rape, and alcohol was given to us by the Europeans. So yeah, and again, such issues need to be prioritized in our communities, of alcohol being abused by our parents, because we drink while our kids are watching us. We drink at homes, we swear, we rape our mothers while under the influence of alcohol. At the very same time, as a man or as a human, you will rape your partner in the watch of your kids. So that trauma, again, it affects your kids, which will be generational at some point, guys. Yes, so it's a pandemic, this thing of alcohol, because it can cause so those are my analysis. So next time I'll go deeper. I don't want to confuse a lot of you guys, but I'll go deeper into this context. What are other causes of rape in our communities? So now let us come to what can be the solution to the problem we are facing. I believe that this podcast, the reason for this podcast to be present at the current moment, is that as people, we ought to communicate. As people, we ought to have conversation, for us to remove contradictions, for us to resolve our contradictions, for us to resolve our disadvantages. For us to resolve our disagreements. Yes, we ought to have a conversation at some point, guys. That's the purpose of this podcast. Manji, in the context of rape, we ought to have conversation. We ought to have a conversation with our families. We ought to have a conversation with our friends. We ought to have a conversation with our colleagues. We ought to have a conversation with people who are leading in terms of rape. We ought to talk to our victims properly, guys. Hence, as African people, we are spiritual beings. Our problems require spiritual solutions. African problems for spiritual solutions. You cannot solve African problem in the European context. You cannot just call a psychology who's not spiritually aligned in the African context to help your kid to resolve his or her rape traumatic experience. You ought to involve someone who's spiritual, someone who has the African way of solving problems that are affecting our communities, including rape, crime that is caused by our people and other ones in the world. It's not only black people who rape, white people, they also rape. So you must not sugarcoat them, you must not leave them out. They must be also included in this regard, because they also did rape, and they still rape our grandparents, they still rape our people in our communities here in Tanzania and Africa in particular, guys. So yeah, so we need to have a conversation with those people, with those affected parties. Hence we need people who are spiritual. We have Imbonis here in Africa who can help us to come up with a solution in that regard. We need spiritual cleansing as people who are victims of rape, because we believe that if you cannot remove that bad luck, it can come after you for generational cause. You can go with you generational to your kids and stuff. So some people they experience rape multiple times, but they don't know why do they get raped at multiple times. It is because of that there's a need for spiritual cleansing. We need to be cleansed by someone who has spiritual authority, given by our spiritual guides or our ancestors, guys. So we need to be cleansed so that this bad luck cannot follow you where you go, guys. So now another thing, we need to sit down as our families and talk about these issues, because some families when you are raped by your uncle, when you are raped by someone who's close to you, the extended family they intend to make as if, or to make as if they don't know nothing about what happened to you. They even make sure that they protect one of their family members. So our parents needs to be truthful, needs to be honest when facing this issue of rape, because it affects their children, not them knowing. It can affect their children negatively, guys. So if your kid was raped by someone who's close to you, report them, because if you don't report it, this traumatic experience will go on and on and on and on, and your kid will hate you as a parent, because you are not able to resolve such issues. So the causes of rape to increase, which means the rape cases that are increasing in Tanzania, one of the causes of them is the problem of having a conversation as a family, is a problem of protecting one of your family members when they did wrong to your kids or to your cousins or whoever who is close to you. So no matter how you love that uncle, no matter how you love that father, no matter how you love that mother, no matter how you love that grandmother, no matter how you love that grandfather, or whoever who is close to you, they must be reported so that your kid or the victims can be saved from psychological killings or trauma or emotional trauma that they can experience going forward, guys. And another solution is that I've talked about being too involved spiritual people, or I can say people who have spiritual authority, or people who have gifts of coming up with solutions in our communities. So we need those people to at least assist in this regard, to let them work with psychologists, let them work with people who are in our clinics who are dealing with such cases, so that they can have solutions in this regard, guys. Because people who are spiritual, people who have gifts of seeing what the normal people or normal person cannot see, they're very powerful, because they can give solutions that are spiritual. They can give solutions that comes from people who can see, who are in the spiritual world, who can see what can happen, who can see the future of their kids or the future of their grandkids. So we need such people to be involved in the sectors of psychology, in the sectors of health, to assist in that regard, guys. It's like a sangoma with a muti that can assist someone, can be assisted by so-called professional doctor in our hospitals or clinics. That's the same thing. We need spiritual people who have gifts of coming up with solutions. We have gifts of healing our families' generational trauma. We need those people in those sectors, guys. Again, guys, let's have conversations as families. Even as a parent, you must tell your children, you must tell your men, you must tell your women, let's have this conversation. They must know it's wrong to rape a woman or a boy child, or a woman who's old or a man who is old. It's wrong to rape someone, guys. It's so wrong. So we need to tell our kids while they're still young, boy or girl, you must not rape another person. See someone as your fellow brother or your fellow sister, guys. We need to have those conversations with our kids. Our parents, they did not have such conversation in their days. So it's now time as the youth to have such conversation with our mothers if they cannot do that. It's high time now we learn about these things. It's high time now we understand the importance of a womb, of a mother in our communities. It's important to understand the significance of the man in our communities. So when you rape a woman, when you rape a man, that plays a negative role in the community, because if you rape someone, we lose him, we lose her psychologically, we lose her emotionally, and if we lose one person in the community, that destroys the community at large, guys. So let us teach our kids what the importance of a womb, because a womb of a woman is very important in the African terminologies, or in the African context of spirituality. A womb of a woman carries life. A womb of a woman is like an anchor. So if an anchor is broken, therefore there is no life in a community. We believe that women are the solution to our problems as African people. Patriarchy system has brought us trauma in the communities. The priority, the exclusion of women in the economic sector, the exclusion of women and black men in particular during the times of colonization, during the times of apartheid, caused such traumas we're experiencing today. So let us include women. Let us know the importance of a woman in our lives as men of this country, and Africa in particular, even Europe as included. Women are so important because they carry life. Women are so important because they know they are the center of the family. They know how to carry a family. They know how to grow a family. They know how to bring peace in our families in that regard, guys. So let us respect our women's, let us respect our men's, let us not rape them, let us protect them instead as our daughter. Let us love and protect our women in our communities, guys. So it's high time now we have those conversations that our grandparents had before colonization. Because before colonization, our parents had meeting with the chief. Our parents were able to resolve issues with the king, with the spiritual person or imboni included in those chats. You cannot just solve African problems through government. Our government, they do not care about our well-being of our community. Our government, they just care about money. They do campaigns for money. They do campaigns when it's there in the calendar, or on this day there's a celebration, or there's a awareness of rape and stuff, gender-based violence and stuff. That's when they will just do awareness and posters and stuff, but they do nothing in terms of helping our people. Yes, they try, but they do not involve relevant spiritual African people in the conversation. So I think our government lack in that concept. They must bring people who are spiritual, who are African, by the way, in this context. Nabo, they can come in and help our government, to help our society at large to resolve this issue of rape and stuff. Because a psychological person won't tell you their future, you'll be raped again. You can go to a psychologist today and be raped tomorrow. So a spiritual person can be able to see what's the permanent solution in this regard, guys. Because we are spiritual beings as Africans. We need to acknowledge that for the better, guys. We are spiritual people, so we need spiritual solutions in that regard, guys. So let's have the conversation in our homes first, then our communities will be okay going forward. Conversation first, then everything will come okay. Let us not protect perpetrators, let us protect victims and help them to cure their spiritual or their emotional trauma, the experience of rape, guys. That is my perspective, that is my opinion in this regard. So I'm not saying that your opinion is wrong or whatsoever, but I think that could be a solution to problems I face. I believe that churches have failed, Christian churches or religious churches have failed also to address this issue of rape in our communities. Let us try the African way of solving such problems we are facing. Let us try the spiritual African way of solving such problems we are facing in our communities, guys. So let us meet in the next video. You can just at least tap on the comment section. What can you talk about that concerns this topic of rape further so, because this is my introduction of this topic of rape and its causes. So you can just comment in the comment section some solutions or some recommendation what can help to decrease the rate of rape, because also in here we're still in the process of coming up with solutions to these problems. So guys, now there's no time to cry. This is now the time to come up with a solution to our problems we are facing as South Africans. So let's not cry. So the victims of rape, I wish them well. I wish them to fight for themselves, because no government will stand up for you. So let us, as Africans, let us stand up for ourselves and resolve our issues as Africans. And it starts from our homes. Let us solve the problems that our families are facing, because African families have been broken by the apartheid regime. Let us go back let us go back and resolve the issues, the generational cases we have experienced, guys. I hope you're gonna enjoy your day. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga, enkosi kalebo. Recommendation what can help to decrease the rate of rape, because also in here we're still in the process of coming up with solutions to these problems. So guys, now there's no time to cry. This is now the time to come up with a solution to our problems we are facing as South Africans. So let's not cry. So the victims of rape, I wish them well. I wish them to fight for themselves, because no government will stand up for you. So let us, as Africans, let us stand up for ourselves and resolve our issues as Africans. And it starts from our homes. Let us solve the problems that our families are facing, because African families have been broken by the apartheid regime. Let us go back let us go back and resolve the issues, the generational cases we have experienced, guys. I hope you're gonna enjoy your day. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga, enkosi kalebo.